Can a team truly shed the weight of its past, the crushing burden of playoff disappointments, by parting ways with one of its brightest stars? Or is it a reckless gamble, a desperate roll of the dice that could send a promising franchise spiraling backward? For years, the Toronto Maple Leafs have been defined by their core four, a quartet of offensive titans whose collective brilliance promised Stanley Cup glory, yet consistently delivered only heartbreak. Now, one of those pillars, the dazzling, dynamic Mitch Marner, has departed for the bright lights of Vegas. And the hockey world, Fabiano, is left grappling with a question that cuts to the very core of what it means to build a championship team. Is subtraction truly addition when you're talking about a 100-point player? Is this the bold stroke of genius the Leafs desperately need, or a colossal misstep that will haunt them for years to come? The air in Toronto, usually thick with the fervent anticipation of a new hockey season, carries a different kind of tension this year. It's a palpable mix of skepticism, curiosity, and a touch of trepidation. Last season, the Maple Leafs soared, capturing the Atlantic Division title with a blend of offensive firepower and improved defensive play. Yet, as has become a painful tradition, their playoff journey ended prematurely, a second-round exit at the hands of the relentless Florida Panthers. The sting of that defeat was still fresh when the news broke. Mitch Marner, the team's leading scorer, a wizard with the puck, was gone, traded to the Vegas Golden Knights. It was a move that sent shockwaves through the league, a definitive end to an era, and an immediate catalyst for widespread speculation about the Leafs' immediate future. The initial prognosis from many corners of the hockey world is stark. NHL analyst Sarah Sivan of Bleacher Report, for instance, didn't mince words, predicting a clear step back for the Maple Leafs this season. Her reasoning is straightforward and difficult to argue with on paper. The Leafs aren't returning an improved roster on paper after losing Marner to the Golden Knights and failing to replace his point production on a sparse free agency market, Sivan wrote. It's a sentiment echoed by the oddsmakers who, while still giving Toronto a strong chance to make the playoffs, a formidable 79.2% implied probability at minus 380 odds, have them pegged as third in the Atlantic Division, trailing behind the formidable Panthers and the perennial contenders in Tampa Bay. Even more telling, their Stanley Cup odds have plummeted from fourth best last season at plus 1,300 to ninth best this year at plus 2,200. This isn't just a slight adjustment, it's a significant recalibration of expectations, a clear signal that the league and its sharpest observers anticipate a period of adjustment, if not outright regression for the blue and white. To fully grasp the magnitude of this predicted step back, we must first acknowledge the immense void left by Mitch Marner. On the ice, he was a statistical marvel, a consistent 100-point producer, a magician with the puck who could conjure scoring chances out of thin air. His vision, his playmaking prowess, and his uncanny ability to find teammates in tight spaces were integral to the Maple Leafs' offensive identity. Beyond the raw numbers, Marner was also a significant two-way forward, contributing defensively and on the penalty kill. His departure isn't merely the loss of a point-per-game player. It's the removal of a cornerstone, a central figure around whom much of the team's offensive strategy revolved. Replacing that kind of multifaceted impact, especially in a free agency market that general manager Brad Treliving himself described as sparse, is an unenviable task. It's like trying to replace a vital cog in a finely tuned machine with a handful of spare parts, hoping they somehow fit together to replicate the original's seamless function. Yet, amidst the predictions of decline, there's a fascinating counter-narrative emerging from within the Maple Leafs front office, a strategic pivot that suggests this isn't merely a retreat, but a calculated reevaluation of what it takes to win in the modern NHL. General manager Brad Treliving, while acknowledging the sting of Marner's departure, when a player of Mitch's magnitude moves away, that's never a fun day, he conceded, quickly shifted the focus to the team's new direction. But we were able to recoup a player who I think can really help us. And in a situation where a player was walking away this morning for nothing, we were able to recoup a player that fits a need for us. Mitch was a top six forward, and we haven't replaced that hole. That's really where our focus is. This statement, seemingly contradictory, reveals the essence of Toronto's off-season strategy. Instead of chasing another high-octane offensive star to directly fill Marner's shoes, the Maple Leafs have opted for a different approach, bolstering their depth and, crucially, becoming a harder team to play against. Their additions of Matthias Maselli, Nick Roy, Dakota Joshua, and Michael Petzetta are not headline-grabbing moves designed to replace Marner's point production. Instead, they are pieces intended to inject grit, defensive responsibility, and a more physical edge into the lineup. This is a team that has been criticized for being too soft in the playoffs, too easily pushed around by more aggressive opponents. Treliving's moves suggest a deliberate effort to address that perceived weakness, to transform the team's identity from one built primarily on finesse to one that can grind out wins and withstand the punishing physicality of the postseason. It's a shift from pure offensive fireworks to a more balanced, battle-tested roster, a recognition that sometimes the path to victory lies not in outscoring your opponent, but in outworking them. And here's where the narrative takes an intriguing turn, where the step-back prediction gets complicated. Despite her initial assessment, Sarah Sivens still ranks the Maple Leafs as the 9th best team in the NHL, placing them firmly within her top 10 cup contenders. How can a team be expected to take a step back and still be considered a top-tier contender? Sivens' explanation delves deeper than mere statistics, touching upon the intangible, often unquantifiable elements that define a hockey team's destiny. The failures of the Toronto Maple Leafs are about much more than just on-ice stats and happenings, Sivens wrote. They're about the pressure of the market, the core four's offense drying up when the postseason rolls around, and the lack of that intangible oomph they are desperately searching for in this era. This is the crux of the argument for cautious optimism, the glimmer of hope amidst the perceived regression. While Marner is undoubtedly a phenomenal player, Sivens suggests that his departure and the subsequent reshaping of the roster might just be the cathartic release the team needs. On paper, Mitch Marner is one of the best two-way forwards in the game and a 100-plus point player. In reality, the team couldn't get it done in the core four era, partially due to the combination of key players and the ability to handle pressure, she added. The implication is clear. The core four era, despite its regular season successes, had become synonymous with playoff failures, with a suffocating pressure that seemed to paralyze the team when it mattered most. By shedding a central piece of that era, even one as talented as Marner, the Maple Leafs might be shedding more than just a contract. They might be shedding a disappointing vibe, a collective psychological burden that has haunted them for years. This isn't about making leaps and bounds forward, as Sivens notes, but about entering a new era. It's a strategic retreat in terms of pure offensive firepower, perhaps, but a potential psychological leap forward. It's a bold experiment, a willingness to dismantle a seemingly successful formula in pursuit of an elusive intangible, the ability to win when the stakes are highest. The Maple Leafs are betting that a more balanced, gritty, and less top-heavy roster, even if it means fewer highlight reel goals, will ultimately be more resilient, more adaptable, and more capable of handling the immense pressure that comes with playing in one of the most demanding hockey markets in the world. So, as the Toronto Maple Leafs prepare to open their 2025 NHL season on October 8th against their storied rivals, the Montreal Canadiens, the question lingers. Is this a step back to take 2 steps forward? Is the gamble on depth and a new identity a stroke of genius or a miscalculation that will prove costly? The loss of Mitch Marner is undeniable, and the immediate predictions point to a challenging road ahead. Yet, the underlying belief from some analysts is that this isn't just a roster change, it's a cultural shift, a shedding of a past that, for all its individual brilliance, never quite delivered on its ultimate promise. The Maple Leafs are embarking on a new path, one less reliant on individual heroics and more focused on collective resilience. It's a risky proposition, one that demands patience and a willingness to embrace a different kind of hockey. But if it finally leads them to the promised land, then perhaps, just perhaps, losing a star was indeed the most strategic move of all. What do you make of this bold new direction for the Toronto Maple Leafs? Do you believe that sacrificing offensive firepower for increased depth and toughness is the right move for a team desperate for playoff success? Or is the loss of a talent like Mitch Marner simply too great to overcome? Drop your thoughts, your predictions, and your passionate opinions in the comments below. And if you're as fascinated by the strategic chess match unfolding in the NHL as we are, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive insights and debates that get to the heart of the game.